libraries directly. Just write the codes manually, and after that, when you learn the logical structure on the background of each of algorithm, you are free to use library because of the private sector or deadlines, of course. But at first, you should be writing manually codes at first. That's a very important key point because using libraries may be causing you not to catch the exact logic on the background of the techniques. So I suggest you to write the codes, your own codes manually first. And you can be learning about data science, statistics, some because these are important background information and background fields of the AI, as you know. And you can be choosing some subfields to work in terms of AI and cancer diagnosis. You can be joining to events like that keynote speech, as you can see, and you can be joining to training programs, especially massive ones, by using massive online environments maybe, and you can be joining the online courses, of course. And you can be reading about AI from news, blogs, and from especially scientific journals by some searching publications about AI. And you can be following some famous scientists, maybe me, I don't know if I'm famous enough, but you can be search for famous scientists over the web, not by just, for example, following Elon Musk or other guys, but by following the exact scientists, which you cannot know about them from news, but learn about them by just searching for publications or specific blogs or web environments or maybe higher education institutions. So that's very important in order to understand current state and future state of AI, and of course specifically making connection to my presentation for about deep learning and how it's applied in terms of cancer diagnosis. Yes, thank you very much for listening, dear friends. I have passed my time. Sorry for that, because I'm talking too much in my presentation. So sorry for that. And your questions are all free to ask. You can ask me some questions. I'm stopping my share, so I will be able to see your questions. Thank you very much. Yes, I will just take a look at to the exact chats. Sorry, I will close the participations window and open the chat window. Yes. Yes, dear Vedant Chadrai, I hope I'm spelling it good or correctly. And he asks that, sir, what are the chances that AI won't overtake humans in all aspects in the future, as we all heard about two AI robots of Facebook, Bob and Alice. Everything you are now just hearing from news are just some magazine-based things, which means, of course, there are Facebook, Bob, or Alice, and there are many advanced forms of AI-based systems which are able to understand many complex things like humans are doing. But for now, such news are supported by the media, of course, because we are not, as the scientists, I can say that we are not just heard about some algorithms or intelligence systems which are able to, for example, understand exact emotions or run some ethical and unethical things by understanding what ethics or other things, for example, emotions means to humans, for example. So because such systems are not developed for now or have not developed yet, we cannot say that if the AI systems will be overcome or overtake the humans, but we cannot say that there will be a utopia or dystopia for the future, but in around maybe 10 or 15 years, we will be having better views about the future of the AI. But of course, because the AI is the product by the humankind, we should be having some precautions in terms of data, in terms of harmful AI systems training, for example. For example, we should be having some precautions in order not to build AI-based systems for to be used as weapons, for example, against humans. But of course, that's the humankind. So there are already different works, as you may already heard about the USA Army, for example. They are using some Boston Dynamics dogs, robotic dogs for now, but that's a very dangerous thing, I think. So the humankind will be responsible for the result, for the future. So we can say that the humankind will be giving that answer in time. I can say that. Yes. Why is naive bias so naive? Why it's naive? Because it says just associated with the bias theory on the background. So we can say that it's the exact thing, just we are using the exact logical background the humankind is actually using. So we can say that it's just to use directly the theory of the bias. So by not using different types of methodologies or solutions, we can say that it's just the pure bias, which means naive bias. Okay. And sir, do AI replace humans? They have the potential in terms of theoretically, but we will see if that will be real in terms of application side. The answer, my answer for the first question is just associated with that. You can just consider that. And dear Tanish asked that I have read about the limitations of neural network black box, like it being non-transparent. How do you think we can overcome that? In order to overcome that, we are using XAI. I suggest you to read about explainable AI by just running some additional algorithms or additional modular systems by integrating them with the black box systems. Not every machine learning techniques are black box exactly, but if you use black box techniques, you just run some additional algorithms to derive some ideas about their data use. And the next question is that I'm going to start radiation next year. What should I expect and what can do to decrease the fatigue? I'm not physician, especially, but if we talk about or think about exact things I'm hearing from physicians or other researchers working in terms of cancer diagnosis, I can suggest that you can be gaining more protein-based food, for example, and by running away from, for example, calcium supported or carbohydrate supported foods in order to make you decreasing your fatigue. But I highly suggest you to also ask some physicians or some physicians, expert physicians exactly working in cancer in order to have more idea. But I know about protein, so you may be having more protein in order to decrease the fatigue and fight against the cancer and other disadvantages of radiation. And the other question, dear Avanish, asking that, sir, what is features of ML and DL? ML is just machine learning is just running the exact learning and testing phase in order to run some how algorithms to learn something about the target data and in order to have some idea about how to solve uncounted or unseen new problems of the same problem. But when you talk about deep learning, it's more advanced form of machine learning, which is using intense and high amount of data. And the next question is that not only AI diagnose the cancer, but they will do the operations on their own in future. Is it true, sir? Dear Nakul Agrawal is asking that. Yes, they will be doing the operations on their own, but it depends on the developments in terms of electronics and also robotics, of course. So we should be having idea about that. And the next question is that are AI-based robots are able to operate their layer node? Probably they will be able to do that. Yes, in the future they will be probably able to do that, but it's just will be having needing some time, maybe 15 or 20 years maybe. And depending on the different eliminating different problems, like for example sudden appearance of COVID-19, it has caused everything, every technological developments to be lower to be performed at lower levels, but of course it has affected